Hello, my sweet friends, and welcome back to the Abundantly Rooted Collective. I'm Hannah, I'm your life coach, and I'm also a military spouse. And I love investing in the lives of military spouses because I believe that there's such a need, right? As experiencing military life myself, I see just in the beginning of really kind of getting my bearings in military life, it was important that I found people to invest in me who had been there. And so I love being that outlet for you and that educator for you, and also just life coaching in general, though I have a huge passion for. And today, though, I wanted to chat a little bit about adoption because that is a part of my life that I have loved sharing with you guys and being just really real about like the process and what it's been like for us has been really cool to just kind of see the support and see the kind of curiosity even of a lot of you asking about the process of adoption because you're considering adoption as well. And just that you guys have just followed along our story. It's just really special to us, and we're just thankful that you're here for it. And we have done a few fundraisers, so that has been really cool. We have an apparel fundraiser, and we also are thinking of another fundraiser we want to do, but we also just have a donation link. I'll link those things below in the description if you want to check them out. But in the meantime, today, I got in the mail our profile book, and I had pieced together in my other profile book, but this one I'm really proud of because it's like I don't know, stapled on the edges, and just the quality looks so much better than the other one. So I have a meeting actually on Wednesday. This is being filmed on Monday, but excuse me, on Wednesday I have an appointment with the coordinator at our adoption center that is kind of facilitating our profile book and making sure that it's good to go for birth mothers to see. And so that meeting should be interesting because it'll give us some insight as to like what is next, and what we need to change on our profile before printing out 30 copies to send in for birth mothers to take a look at. So it's pretty crazy. And something I just really wanted to talk about was like the emotional ups and downs of adoption, because I think a lot of people see it as so exciting as an outsider, but like when you're in it, it can be very like turbulent, right? Turbulence, it's like up, down, all around, and a lot of feelings. Recently I've just like really processed like letting go of getting pregnant, and for those of you who don't know much about our story, I have endometriosis, and part of what came with that was a lot of infertility. I recently had surgery in July, and that was to remove 2 large cysts, one on each ovary, that were blocking my ovaries from ovulating, and it was impossible for me to get pregnant before that surgery, and now we don't really know, and there's not a lot of like encouraging hope. It's just a matter of whatever God wants for us. And adoption was never like, if we can't get pregnant, we'll adopt. It was always a passion of ours, and it was always something we wanted to incorporate into our family because Gabe's little sister is adopted. And so we've just seen just how incredible the experience has been for my mother and father-in-law, and having our sister-in-law, my sister-in-law in our family. She was adopted from China, and she's 10 years old, and watching her grow up has just been incredible, and it's given us just even more of a passion for adoption. But so we always wanted to adopt. It was never something that we thought, if we can't get pregnant, but we obviously in the last few years had tried to get pregnant. That's something we were just like, let's see if we can try to get pregnant, and it just never happened. Gabe and I both had a lot of hormonal issues, and it was just until last year we had no idea what was causing it. And so after the surgery, I've had more of a chance of getting pregnant. And so our plan was, okay, once I get the surgery, and Gabe got a surgery as well that really improved his hormones, now let's try for a baby. Let's try to get pregnant. And it hasn't happened, primarily because Gabe has not been here, but also we're just so sure that like right now adoption is where our focus is, and we are not concerned with getting pregnant. Not that we are preventing pregnancy, but we are allowing God to set us up with whatever it is that He has for us, and we're trying not to focus on forcing anything or making anything happen. But with that, something that I've learned about adoption is I was so naive. I was so naive before I got into this process. I thought I knew what to expect. I thought I was prepared for it, and I wasn't. And I want to make it a goal of mine to educate other potential prospective adoptive parents, because now that we're in it, there's so many things that are like roaming around my mind. There's so many things that I've had to process, and one of those things being we are pursuing domestic newborn adoption, so we will potentially have a relationship with our baby's birth mom. We really want an open adoption or a semi-open adoption. We don't want to close the door to our birth mom. We want her to be a part of us and a part of our child's life. And so we've gone through the home study process, and the home study process can be a little brutal. There's a lot of paperwork to get done. So for about 2 months, I put my head down and I just did all of the adoption stuff. Primarily because Gabe is in a pretty big training season right now, and I wanted to make sure that I could get it all done before this year. And so we finished our home study, and we got the approval on December 18th of 2019. So if you look at the calendar today, it's been a month since we were approved, and that same day we called our agency and we made our last payment so that we could be active and we could be shown to birth mothers. So now the hard part is the way that this works with our facilitators is they don't tell us if we have been shown to a birth mom unless it's a really like huge situation that they feel as though we will be talking to the birth mom, which I appreciate to some extent because they're kind of trying to protect our hearts in a way. But it's a little bit different than if we were to work with a consultant, where the consultant brings you the birth mom's file and gives you the information, and then you get to decide whether you want to present to them or not. Throughout this process, we kind of have decided that the next time we do adopt, that we would probably go through a consultant or an agency and not a facilitator. But that it's only because of our like preferences and where we feel like our next adoption is coming from. We totally believe that God has led us here, and we know that like there's no doubt in our minds that we're supposed to be with our facilitators that we are with now. So now we're waiting, and I have been so proactive. Like our entire nursery is done. Literally all I need to do is go buy diapers for whatever age the baby is and hop on a plane. I have a car seat, I have a stroller, I have baby wraps, I have baby clothes, I have swaddles, I have pacifiers, I have bottles, I have like it's all ready to go. All I need is some formula, and I really want to get one of those like feeders that like attaches to your breast, and so I can breastfeed kind of my baby. If anything, just have it as like a comfort and like an attachment thing. And so I've just been reading books and I've been listening to podcasts, but the wait has been really hard. And with this process, I've been processing the potential of maybe I won't be able to get pregnant. And not everybody's story of infertility ends with a miracle pregnancy. And I'm starting to kind of process through that, because of course I've always wanted to experience that. Like, that's something I've always wanted to experience. And being someone who is suffered with like chronic illness, I'm like, bring on the pain of childbirth. Let's go. Put me in a bathtub and let's labor and let's push a baby out. Like, I just have such a passion for birth and for pregnancy in general. And it's hard because it feels like with this adoption process, I thought infertility came with a lot of unknowns and a lot of uncertainty and a lot of like guessing and a lot of pain. But adoption is like that on steroids. And the reason why is because there's way more potential. You feel like there's way more potential because you know you're going to be matched with somebody who's going to have a baby. And it's not whether if you're going to become a parent, it's about when you're going to become a parent. But with this, knowing I'm going to become a mom, I don't have any expectation. I have no information. It's like literally I'm just sitting and waiting to like get a call. And the crazy part about this is I could become a mom next week and have no idea today that that's going to happen. It could be 3 or 4 months from now and I have no idea. And so for your heart in the waiting game, you have to like constantly remind yourself that God has called you to this. And no matter how hard it is coming. And it's like keeping faith when you don't see. It's like literally the epitome of like walk by faith, not by sight. And I even posted on Instagram a few days ago about the waiting process in adoption and how it truly is that Bible verse in real life, in real time. And walking by faith and not by sight isn't just, oh, I choose to walk by faith and not by sight. It's literally surrendering every single time you're like, God, why is this taking so long? Or why am I in this wait? Why can't I just know what the future is going to hold? Please give me confirmation. Give me a sign. Give me, just some form of tangible like control, because it's like you're completely out of control. You have no idea what to expect. You have no idea what's next. And, it's so heavy. It's so heavy. And a lot of the process too now goes with fear. Like, fear that like, will my body like hold up if I'm on my period and we have to go get a baby? Fear of bringing that baby home and not being the mom I picture in my head that's been waiting for a baby and that can't wait for the nights of no sleep. And like, what happens if I suck at this? And then there's the emotions for the birth mother. She is the one who makes me a mom. I mean, technically I did have a miscarriage, and so that baby made me a mom, but this woman is so selfless in carrying this baby, knowing that she's going to give me an opportunity to be a mom to this baby. And her heart is going to break. My eyes are stinging. Her heart's going to break. She will have to sacrifice that role as mom for me. And, hold on. Okay, I'm back. Whenever I cry, this mascara is stinging my eyes for some reason. I can't figure out why. But I know that, like, not only am I going to fall in love with this baby, but I'm going to fall in love with the woman who, you know, gave birth to this baby. I'm going to have so much empathy for her. And I'm going to be so grateful for her because she's given me the greatest gift. And I will never be able to repay her. But to think of the heartbreak that she has to go through in order for our family to feel joy, it weighs on me. And now, in this waiting process, I'm like, I just don't want to say the wrong thing to her. I don't want her to feel like I'm not supporting her. I don't want her to feel coerced or forced to make this decision because I'm involved. I want everything to work out the way that it's supposed to, but at the same time, I don't want to get heartbroken. And with adoption, heartbreak is inevitable. It just depends on, like, what type of heartbreak that is. Whether it's your child being separated from the first woman they ever knew, the environment and the home that they knew before they came into this world, or if it's that birth mother chooses to parent. And although you're happy for her and you want the best thing for this baby, and if that is this baby is with her, then amazing, great, but, like, your heart still leaves broken. And so I'm walking into this knowing that no matter what, my heart's gonna be broken. So that's what I carry with me every day as I pray for this woman who's going to bring this baby into the world, is that God would give me the words and help me know when the right time is to say whatever, and that God would give us wisdom and that He would sustain me and my body and my health. Really all other days of the week or of the month besides 1 to 2 days during my cycle, I am up and about and I'm functioning, I'm fine, but there's a couple of days where I am in severe pain, and traveling with that is just scary, and also asking myself the question, like, is this match going to happen and is this baby going to come before my husband deploys? Like, that's a big fear of mine. I really want him to be a part of this, and I want him by my side because I need him. And so with the military lifestyle, I just don't have the luxury of my husband being there all the time and ready to go with me. There's a lot of fear in this process, and there's a lot of what ifs, and there's a lot of, like, scenarios, and there's a lot of heartbreak, and there's a lot of learning. I'm just like, just all of the things that I'm learning about multi-racial, adoptions and attachment with adoption, and talking to other adoptive parents and talking to other adoptees who have been through the process and either had an open or closed relationship with their birth mother. It's heavy. It's heavy, and adoption is not for the faint of heart. There's a lot of trust that has to be put in God's hands, that, like, financially it'll be provided for, and that He will give me the strength to encounter whatever situation it is we are to encounter. And processing through the fact that, like, if we were only meant to be in a birth mother's life to encourage her and empower her in parenting a child, we have to be okay with that. We have to let go the heartbreak of our hearts being broken for the sake of her heart not being broken. And then if it does work out, trusting that God's going to give us the words and the encouragement and the ability to support her while still allowing ourselves to feel joy. Oh, it's a lot. So that's where we're at. We're in the waiting process. Everything's done. Literally all we need to do is find a lawyer in California, because we're going to have to finalize our adoption once we adopt, and just continuing to share our profile. And so I'll also link our profile in the description so that you can take a look at it and you can share it on your social media platforms. That would mean the world to us. You know, a lot of times birth mothers are found through social media networking, and it's because multiple people keep sharing, and then somebody sees it who is considering adoption for their child, and if they resonate with that family, it's like a no-brainer. They're like, yes, that is the family. And so I just heard from a friend, or I was watching on a friend's Facebook feed, that they were in the adoption process and they found their birth mama through Facebook, just from their friends sharing. And so if you guys could do that, that would be amazing. If you want to buy one of our apparel shirts from our bonfire fundraiser, that would be amazing. Be a part of our village. But even so, like, if you could just be praying for us, that we would feel strength in the waiting, that God would align the timing to be perfect with Gabe's schedule, with my body, with the just process of packing up and going somewhere, that God would just prepare our hearts for parenthood, and that he would continue to help grow our conversations, Gabe and I, as we enter this season of parenthood, and that he would just instill in us confidence that no matter what the outcome is, that he's in control, and there's a reason for everything that he allows, right? So if you have experienced walking through domestic infant adoption, and you want to share your story, feel free to comment in the comments, or if you have more questions about adoption, about our experience, I would love to answer those too, and maybe I can do an adoption Q&A, maybe a separate video. So ask your questions below. I would love to hear those, and like this and share it with somebody who is also going through an adoption experience, so that they can feel like they resonate and they feel validated in their feelings in the waiting process. And then of course subscribe for more updates. I will be updating about adoption, but I'll also be really challenging you in your personal development. As a life coach, that's something that I love to do. It is my jam. It is something that I'm insanely good at, helping others invest in themselves. So stay tuned for more videos, and I will see you next time.